So of all the big buck destinations in the continental United States, I think Iowa has probably got more potential than any of them.
Look at this Iowa buck.
McWhorter Custom Rifles presents
That's another dead buck, 500 yards, 45 XML. Welcome back, folks. This week, Seth and I are headed to Iowa for some late season whitetails. Our 45 XML is ready. I'm sure his is. You don't want to miss this.
Precision Hunting TV is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, Macmillan Fiberglass Stocks, Swarovski Optique, Hornady Ammunition, and Borden Accuracy.
So of all the big buck destinations in the continental United States, I think Iowa has probably got more potential than any of them. I've never even really killed a giant buck there. I've killed some really good deer there hunting over the past several years. But there's a lot of good reasons. I mean, it's predominantly cropland, got a lot of good cover, and non-residents can't hunt there every year. I mean, bow tags, you're probably gonna get 1 out of 5 years if you're a non-resident. Gun tags or late muzzleloader, maybe 2 or 3 out of 5 years. So it really keeps down the pressure on these big bucks in Iowa, and that's why I think it's probably the best state in the whole continental United States. We're gonna start this episode out back in 2021. Our producer, Seth Johnson, was like a kid in a candy store. He just got his brand new McWhorter 45 XML on a Macmillan Pinnacle stock. Came down and shot it, shot little bug holes. He just couldn't wait to get to Iowa.
All right, guys, it is late season. In fact, it's the 27th of December in southern Iowa. I have got my brand new McWhorter 45 XML. And I am excited to take it on its maiden voyage here. But if you can't tell, I am trying to self-film. It's okay though, because I'm in a really small 4x4 muddy blind overlooking a big turnip patch that's been planted, and these deer are piling into it. In fact, we've had the Tacticam Reveal X cell camera out since September, and I've been seeing all kinds of deer, particularly the last couple of weeks, piling into this food plot in late afternoon. I'm looking for 2 in particular bucks. If we can get the 45 XML on either of those, we'll be super excited. But this property is, well, it's a long story, but a friend of mine I went to high school with, Adam, and his son, they are on the other side of the property hunting this afternoon with one of my other 45 XMLs. But Adam had a friend of a friend, and that basically leases this property, and so we split it with him where we get the gun hunts and he gets the bow hunts. So we're excited about it, and we've been seeing a lot of deer, and it looks like the weather's gonna be right this week. So we're hoping that we can do everything right. And get one of these big mature Iowa bucks on the ground. So
Seth's got a small lease in Iowa. He's got this brand new 45 XML, and he's been running cameras, been doing his homework all summer, but he really doesn't have any monsters or any big target bucks on camera. He's got a 145 inch or so 10-pointer. He's got a tag burning a hole in his pocket, so I know that this deer's in trouble.
This segment is brought to you by Board & Accuracy, makers of the most accurate custom hunting actions on the market. Manufactured in the USA to true bench rest tolerances. Board & Accuracy equals success.
dropped him in his tracks. What an afternoon, guys. We had bucks just everywhere. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Big half rack deer, pretty 8-point. I had my mind set on that buck, and I was determined. And when he made his way out here, when I first saw him and I looked up there and I saw that G2, I knew it was him. 45 XML, baby. Wasn't a very far shot, but man, did he dump right there. All right, guys, here he is. Oh, let me put that down. Look at this Iowa buck. First afternoon, and this is our target deer. This is a deer that we've been watching on the Tacticam Reveal. I've been watching them all the way from Alabama for several months, and I knew this was the one. There was a lot of deer in this area, but this was the target buck that I had gotten pictures of, and I knew he was the one I was interested in. And this first afternoon, I'm a big fan of you get there your first time and make that first sit work for you. So I got in there, self-filming, closed up the blind, kept the windows shut until I was ready to shoot. And all kinds of deer came out. Saw heavy mature 8-point, saw a half rack buck that was fighting everybody, all kinds of young bucks and does. When this guy came out here to the back, and I looked up and I immediately saw that G2 right there, I knew exactly which one it was. And this was the buck that I was after. Made it happen on the first afternoon sit. Maiden voyage with my new McWhorter 45 XML muzzleloader. First hunt with it, first shot, first sit, and it absolutely piled this deer up. I mean, he did not go one step. And I cannot say enough about these custom muzzleloaders, guys. This one, I'm shooting the light load on it, a 325 grain Pittman Aeromax around 2750 feet per second, and it absolutely hammered this big old Iowa buck. But what a day. A big thanks to my buddy Adam. He's actually one farm over hunting in a blind. Got his son running the camera for him this afternoon. Maybe, just maybe, they will fill their tag as well. What a day.
So Seth's done, great shot. Now it's my turn. This year I'm gonna hunt with a good customer and friend up in southern Iowa. He's invited me to come up and hunt on his about 450 acre farm. He's got some pretty good deer on camera. He's in the right place. We got the right weapon. I can't wait.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by Rack 'em Up Roasted Feeds, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, Surge Pro by Biofac Crop Care, Armageddon Gear, Gun Foam, Metal Spinning Targets, and Mesquite Creek Taxidermy.
In southern Iowa, during the later season, you depend on a couple of things. You depend on cold weather and snow. We tried to wait this out, but it just wasn't going to happen for us. We're not going to have cold weather and we weren't going to have snow. That being said, you're pretty much relegated to hunting the afternoons because everything's set up over standing food plots. So in the mornings, we would glass from the cabin, kind of see what we could see. In the afternoons, that's when you would hunt. First afternoon hunt, we decided to sit on the hillside blind. It's a big redneck blind on a hillside, thus the name, and it's overlooking a big soybean patch. Iowa had a pretty good drought this year too, so the beans weren't what they usually are, but this backed up to a big wood lot that was a very well-used trail system and bedding area. So we get out early, 1 o'clock, Darren and I are in the blind, and shortly thereafter, even in the hot weather, some deer start moving. Darren and I get out in the blind about 1 o'clock, and it's fairly warm, especially for Iowa later season. Usual suspects start showing up, a couple of small bucks, several does, a pretty good 10-pointer that's a young up-and-comer, but not any of the target bucks that Brad has showed us on trail camera. Welcome back, folks. On today's segment, we're going to go over once again the baddest muzzleloader on the planet, the 45 XML. This muzzleloader is capable of shooting black powder or smokeless powder. With smokeless powder, it shoots 2750 with the regular load and 3100 with the big boy load that we call it, with a 325 grain Pittman bullet. So it is, in capable hands, it is at least a 600-yard muzzleloader to make ethical 600-yard shots with. So we're going to start out today. We're going to go over the loading of it, and then we're going to take a shot or two down range. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to take a range rod. We got the regular rod in the gun, but we're just going to leave that in the gun for speed up purposes. And you always are going to check, make sure your rod bounces, so you're not going to double load it. You take your funnel, closes off the muzzle brake ports, and we're going to pour in our temp stable powder. And this is the regular load. And we're going to take one of our sized Pittman 325 grain bullets, drop it in the bore, take our spin jag and our range rod, and push it down. Just snug it up. You don't want to crush the powder. Right now, the barrel is loaded. Put it up on our rest area. We're going to take one of our ignition cartridges, put the safety on, and we're just gonna bolt it in, and we're ready to shoot now. So today I think we're gonna start out at 500 yards here, Keith. So what's my dial up on the SIG for?
All right, we got 504, and we're looking at 8.84 on your dial up.
Flip my flatline ops level out.
All right, Allan, we got a right hand wind, 3 mile an hour angle, 50%, and we got some wind shadow, so I would give it a quarter right.
You ready?
Send it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect.
That's why we call it the baddest muzzleloader in planet. First shot at 500, right in the middle of the keel. The energy at 500 yards is still phenomenal. At the muzzle with this load, it's about 5,500 foot-pounds of energy. Not that you need that for a whitetail, but we shoot these heavy for caliber bullets just like we do on the rifle so that you get the benefit of the BC. The BC on this bullet's like 448 G1. The big boy load, which I've been shooting for years, is about 3,100. And with that, the recoil's up about 10 or 12%. But I'm only 185 pounds soaking wet. It's not that bad. You watched that one recoil, and you watched a big trophy deer target get killed right in the middle. So, baddest muzzleloaders on the planet. Give us a call today. We'll be glad to make you one and make one of your muzzleloader hunt dream hunts come true.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by McWhorter True Precision Long Range Hunting and Shooting School, Tacticam, Leo Photo USA, Sig Sauer, Trigger Tech, Brux Barrels, and Hawkins Precision. This segment is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, real Texas barbecue.
So one of the bucks that we were kind of looking for was described to us as a big 9-pointer. And so this is the buck that we were kind of concentrating on. Brad thought that the colder weather might bring in some more big bucks that he had seen earlier in the year that had left his farm, but we weren't going to get the cold weather. Nothing we could do to affect that, so it was what it was. So this afternoon the wind had changed, and so Darren and I decided to hunt a food plot that was on the north end of the property, accessed through a feed lot to the west. So we went in there and we parked to the west, made the short walk to the blind, and again, we were in the blind by 1:30 that afternoon. So we're watching a whole lot of does and a few little bucks back in behind us when something catches movement to my left. Are you on him? Shoot him. What just happened right there? God, was that fast? That's our buck. Like, we're sitting here and we hadn't even seen a deer. I just saw a doe go across there. And I don't know if this deer was laying here the whole time or what, but I just finished glassing all this. He came out on the edge of that field right there. And I looked at him, and as soon as I looked at him, I said, I think that's our buck. And I looked at him real quick. But we got a southeast wind, and it's blowing right to him, so I know it's fixing to catch us. And he smelled us right when I got the window open. And I got on him. He's 125 yards, and I just sat on the wind. I didn't even put the sticks up, and just, I think we smoked him just like right in front shoulder. I heard that bullet hit, and he went down like a ton of bricks. That 45 XML with that 325 grain bullet going 3,100 is way too much for even the biggest Iowa whitetail. That's him, he's dead. Woo! That 45 XML dropped him in his tracks. What a nice old buck. Big old head on him, good mass. He broke a brow tine off,
big bladed 7-inch brow tine. This is an old buck, but he wasn't ever gonna be a booner. But nonetheless, a great Iowa buck, a great way to end the season. 45 XML has really been quite the tool this year. This is the 5th buck I've shot with him. This is the big 9, and we got him, and we get to call a very blessed season coming to an end. Headed back home tomorrow to my home in Georgia, and we'll make rifles hard and work hard for another year, and Lord willing, we'll have another year of this coming up next year. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for letting me chase these magnificent animals. What a nice buck. What a very nice buck.
I've been hunting Iowa many years. I know there's a lot bigger deer there than the deer that I just killed, but this was a big mature deer. Put the 45 XML on his shoulder and dropped him in his tracks. A great Iowa buck, and there's always next year.